Welcome back, everybody. We are here with the next section of our NASL league. I am Kino. I am being joined by the master of all things, player, caster, analyst. We got Daffgrass on the mic. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I guess you're right. I have played in the game. I've done the analyst desk. Now I'm here to cast. So
Yeah,
definitely got the triple threat
yeah.
coming
I
out
mean, you've been
here.
doing a great job, in my opinion, at all three. I saw you. You guys won your game earlier. Your set. Your set earlier. Congrats on that. But we have
Thank you.
some pretty impressive matches coming up next for sure. Some very strong teams. Some teams that you'll actually, maybe be playing against in the future. So maybe interesting to hear a competitor's take on who they'll be who they'll be commentating for soon. But the first match we have coming, we have Otaku Hideout versus J7NG. So just right off the bat, what do you expect to see from these two teams? Um, in particular, what do you think makes them unique compared to the other matches we've seen today?
All right. So starting off, J-Tang, a Juno
Mhm.
goalie player, which I
Yeah.
imagine it's not gonna go through. Like
Mhm.
there's no universe that Otaku Hideout lets the Juno goalie go through because it's his thing, right? Like he's that guy who picks
Yeah.
it. Uh,
Yeah. The league knows.
yeah, of course. You don't want to let the guy who's known for something get his pick.
Yeah, and notably, just kind of on the back of what you're just saying, I know the Juno was banned by Aesop when they Aesop's Puck Champs when they played them last week. So maybe do you expect to see another Juno ban coming out, or maybe a more general ban based on the map they're playing on, or maybe just a comfort pick? What do you think we'll see there?
I think you just ban the Juno. I
Yeah.
I I, I think it's going to be banned. I think it's going to be banned every single game of the league for them. I
Wow.
I don't I don't think they're ever getting it.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Of being so good at one really, specific, unique thing. It's cool that like, yeah, this is your thing. Like you're awesome at this. You're great at it. But when you're so good that you can't even use it in tournament because people are just gonna, ban it or invalidate it or whatever, it's definitely tough. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it really it really sucks to be on the receiving end of, you really want to play your character, but
Hmm.
it just doesn't really work out. And speaking of not really working out, Mark XO, for lots of love,
Hmm.
um, is very much one of those brawler players who I know has a ton of time on the Juliet. So do you think maybe they kind of want to ban the Juliet coming out of the side of J Tang?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. Juliet is obviously a very common character. It's a character we see pretty often in, I would say, the majority of matches, just in general. I feel like it's a character that you don't ban very often, though, even if you have, a Juliet specialist, just because she's such a powerful force. Some of her things did get nerfed recently, but she's obviously still incredibly strong. I'm not sure if you'd go for a Juliet ban or if there's something more specific you would want to target. Of course, if the Juliet is the strongest thing that they perceive is on their opponent's team and they want to get rid of it, that of course totally makes sense as well.
Yeah, and if they do decide to ban it, then we would probably be looking at a Juno Juliet ban, which I
Yep.
can't imagine has been has
that
been
yeah, that has
ever.
not.
I would be shocked if it's happened
That's
because
the Juju duo ban. That's got to be a
yeah,
first. Yeah.
very much would be a first from what I can imagine, unless maybe people are out there banning Gravity's Juno, but I'll hell if I know, right?
Yeah. On the other side, obviously, each team does have more than one player. Jay Tang with Storm and Z Yoshi Yoshi. I actually had the privilege to commentate one of Jay Tang's matches back in qualifiers, and Z Yoshi Yoshi actually really blew my mind. I only got to see them play in one set because they were subbed out for Fiery shortly afterwards. But when they played, they were on that X, and they were a force to be reckoned with. Now, again, I know X maybe not as strong as he was back in qualifiers, but that X just looks so good when I was watching it. I would really love to see it again. Do you think there's a chance we're going to see the X come out from Z Yoshi Yoshi?
I would have to imagine if he feels really comfortable on the pick, he would probably go for it. Now, I think X is in a pretty bad spot right now,
Hmm.
honestly. I personally consider him the second worst character in the game, only to
Wow.
Octavia.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he
Okay.
he feels he's big. He eats
He is
every
big.
single thing damage in the game. And
Hmm.
when you're trying to sit and play up front with him, it's just there's just so much damage in the game right now that you
There
will be
definitely
eating.
is.
And he has very little to kind of survive, and he's close range too. He has no
Hmm.
real like ability to kind of help him outduel some of these characters that are really prevalent in the meta
Hmm.
right now.
Yeah, we've definitely been seeing more brawlers today. A lot more, Asher. Of course, again, Julie is everywhere. Um, it does seem like there just seems to be better picks right now than the X. So yeah, I'm definitely curious to see who Z Yoshi wants to opt for there. Of course, maybe the map that they end up playing on will have some sort of influence in that as well. But very excited for this next match. It looks like we're going to be getting started. Yes, we're on Oni Village. We got a ton of space to move around. Probably not the biggest, fisticuffs level that you'll see on this in this game. What kind of characters do you expect to see from these two teams coming into this map?
Well, look, Oni Village is an enigma in terms of the fact that people make a lot of stuff work on it. I would have to
Hmm.
imagine if you are one of the two teams, you will be picking some sort of ranged goalie,
Hmm.
because that makes sense in my head. Oni Village, a prevalent map where you want to keep the core forward, you want that type of ranged goalie who can also get
Hmm.
barriers too.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as you were saying before, we do see the Juno band come out from Otaku Hideout. So yeah, not super surprising, forcing J7NG, forcing their team's goalie to play on a less comfortable character, and I feel like that can be so rough, man. When like the goalie obviously already has so much responsibility, and when you can't play the character that you specialize in, even if he still has a fantastic Kai, if that's not like his bread and butter, he's already maybe not quite in his comfort zone. But we'll see, if he can pick up the slack. Looks like we got Chrono Boost and a Spark opening. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into game number one.
Yeah, it's Storm TFT on this bottom part. Kind of wants to get the core, blinks up with that cyber swipe as this glitch pop does come out and passes to himself there. Nice little move from Storm TFT to able to get both barriers pretty much by himself as this one does go into this top corner here. And Zioshi, whoa, what a dash range with that Chrono Boost. Dashes himself into the turret, but Storm TFT is going to end the round very quickly with that cyber swipe.
Yeah, wow, super super quick round. It's just not really something you expect to see too often on Only Village. Maybe a sign of things to come, unsure. But really nice stuff right there for J7NG's first game.
Yeah, hopefully no jinxing on the length of Oni
Knock
Village
on
here.
wood. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Hey, if it happens later in the game, we know who caused it. As
Ah, oh no.
as this Giga Blast does come out from Best Jelly, trying to keep the core forward as Yoshi is gonna get this top barrier. Storm TFT now with the core hits into Best Jelly. Best Jelly gonna pass to Alpha Kibi, back to Storm TFT. Not really able to do anything with it. We are kind of sitting at almost a standstill, but J7NG, I looked away for 2 seconds. His entire health bar completely gone as now Mark with the core. Alpha Kibi gonna hit it right past Yoshi into the net. And where did he go?
I blinked and he was just gone. Z Yoshi, unfortunately, just missing that strike, not able to keep that goal safe, and we're gonna have an even set count right now, 1-1.
As this one does go to Storm TFT, J7NG trying to use the Giga Blast, but actually Alpha Kibi gonna hit that one right back. Both bottom barriers gone, but Mark gonna get a kill off the top here. Really important as now Yoshi is off the map for a decent amount of time, and Mark, I guess, winning a strike war against Storm TFT is gonna
Yeah,
hit that one in the bottom.
yeah, nice stuff. Good shot, good awareness. Just yeah, right where I guess J7NG not able to cover fast enough. Maybe barrage on cooldown, not entirely sure. But another quick point is gonna go to Otaku there.
Yeah, definitely a very fast point as this Firewall Sentry is going to get another barrier for the side of Otaku Hideout as Yoshi sitting on 1 HP. Can't really do too much about it, and Alpha Kibi going to cyber swipe him off the map as this one goes back to him and almost tries to glitch pop it forward. Here comes the core flip from Storm TFT, but Best Jelly going to throw out the Giga Blast and is going to save that one as he does lose his bottom barrier. but did save the top one, so at least they have one. As this one comes back to J7NG, J7NG gonna have to pop the court flip here as the Firewall Sentry put in front of his net. The glitch pop comes out from Alpha Kibi, and Mark almost getting that one, but J7NG just barely able to get it with his strike there, as he is gonna Giga Blast this one forward after Yoshi gets it. But oh my god, J7NG, we gotta run all the way back to the other side of the map as this speed almost gets a goal for the side of the OTKU hideout. As it does come back to J7NG, is gonna use his strike shot there. As he, it was on cooldown, he has to strike the ball some way. But Storm almost going to get this one for himself as he does Cyber Swipe into that corner, and just barely loses the strike. But with Best Jelly, core flip going to come out from Alpha Kibi as he does throw the glitch pop on the Storm TFT. And now back to Mark, and Mark going to shove it all the way from the top of the map to the bottom of the map and in the net for his team, picking up this first set win.
And J7NG's team was showing some incredible defense there. They were able to fend off a 3v1. J7NG had some crazy saves, but not quite able to put on the pressure. And eventually, the core is just going to go in. So we have Zentaro first pick. He's just going to pick Primetime, which I definitely like a lot. Primetime, any sort of additional ability is just going to be very strong on any character. The Super Surge going to Amy. Oh, and we got an Orb on other Kai as well. This is an interesting pick. I'm not entirely sure all the time when, Orb is what you want to be going for at any of the Orb Awakenings. What do you think of those?
I think that OTKU Hideout's kind of in a position where they have a lot to work with. They're up a set, right? And oh my god, Alpha can be infinitely cyber swiping him off the map. But they are up a set, and when you have such an aggressive team, you're able to enable them with the Orb. And let's say you roll Ponder, let's say you roll Dancer, then you're sitting there with so much speed, so much CDR, and it could really enable your team even more as Alpha Kibi gets another cyber swipe kill. Holy moly.
Yeah, this guy's just a murderer. He's a serial killer right now. J7NG's team definitely has to be worried of him. You cannot get close to this guy.
Yeah, Alpha Kibi out for blood as he uses the cyber swipe again. Man, does this guy even have cooldowns? As I feel like I've seen him throw it 3 times in a very short span.
Yeah, that prime time coming in clutch. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely can. As J7NG sitting in this back, doesn't have anything. Almost died there. As Alpha Kibi is going to walk towards him, pops the core flip, kills him. As Mark going to hit this one, Alpha Kibi. Mark going to go back to Alpha Kibi. Oh my god, doing a little pass and play, but can't get the barrier. As Storm TFT is going to hold it down, but eventually it will fall. And here comes the Firewall Sentry. Best Jelly running forward with that eject button as the Giga Blast does come through. And Best Jelly with the Giga Blast into the speed is going to get a goal for himself. Says, I don't need my forwards. I'll do it myself.
I always love seeing the goalie get it. As a goalie myself, I always love it when the goalie's able to get a goal. Just show, hey guys, I can contribute too.
Definitely showing his participation with that eject button as that bottom barrier goes as Mark gets his own barrier as well. One for 2 special today coming outside of OTKU Hideout as J7NG tried to elusive something that Mark might have thrown at him to try and save that top barrier, but isn't going to be able to as Mark getting thrown down on the bottom side of the map with that Giga Blast. And Best Jelly, whoa, we popped core flip and unfortunately missed as we're shooting for the binders here. As it comes back to J7NG, and now Yoshi with that Adrenaline Rush pack that he picked up in that last carousel gives him the ability to take that top barrier, as now Alpha Kibi is hunting. He is on the move, and whoa, Yoshi popped his core flip. Didn't hit the core as Alpha Kibi finishes his hunt with that cyber swipe into the net.
And you hate to see that. A core flip has to be one of the worst feelings in the game. I feel like the overall theme right now we've been seeing is just a ton of pressure from OTKU Hideout. J7NG's team has been, putting on, a great effort to, on defense, but it doesn't seem like the pressure. It doesn't seem like the pressure is there. There's not a ton of offense coming up from their team right now, I think.
Yeah, and Mark and Alpha Kibi are doing a great job at just keeping the sustained pressure. Look at Storm TFT in this bottom corner. He is doing everything that he can. Well, Best Jelly is basically just soloing Yoshi as Alpha Kibi once again with another cyber swipe as Mark now having the core flip. Decides not to pop it there. Could have probably gotten a goal. Is going to pop it here, and it's going to go in the net. And that was maybe one of the fastest 3 points I've seen in a while.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that we're on Oni Village if you just, saw a like the length of a YouTube video if this was, you wouldn't be this can't be Oni Village. But again, it just looks like the offense is not there from J7NG's team. The core is on the right side of the field the majority of the time, and I'm not entirely sure what J7NG's team, maybe there's some awakenings available to them here that they can use to start mounting some pressure, or just stay away from this Zentaro axe murderer that's just picking up a kill anytime he's nearby.
Yeah, and something interesting to note. Yoshi did not take Stagger Swagger, which in a game where I feel like they have been out-damaged in practically every regard, and now Mark, having the prime time, you definitely want the Stagger Swagger there. And maybe they choose not to target you, but J7NG is going to pick up one for himself. Oh my god. As Best Jelly runs forward with that eject button, and now it comes back to Storm TFT. Storm going to blink forward with that Cyber Swipe, get another goal barrier, as Yoshi, throwing out his primary, is going to get that top one, and looks like they're in a great spot here to possibly pick up a point for themselves, much needed, as it comes back to Alpha Kiwi. Alpha Kiwi going to throw the glitch pop, and J7NG hitting it right into the glitch pop, goes right back into his net.
Yeah, it looked like they were, finally able to mount some offense. They got both gates open on Otaku's side of the field, but unfortunately that core is just going to slip right in there past J7NG's barrage, and first point once again is going to go to Otaku Hideouts on this set.
Yeah, and Otaku Hideout's doing a great job of just keeping this massive sustained pressure as Best Jelly wins that strike war. Very important. Could have lost both barriers if he didn't. But Ziyoshi's going to take that top one as the Giga Blast does come through from J7NG, and Mark winning that strike war. It's coming forward. Whoa, Storm TFT almost blinked that one into his own barrier, but it doesn't matter as the bottom one does fall eventually in the Giga Blast from Best Jelly. Best Jelly's running up, and he is like running all the way from his goal barrier all the way out to the goal box, and it is a little ridiculous to watch right now.
Yeah, something about passing a certain line, and we might hear in the community pretty often. Right now, both one barrier down a piece for each team. This round right now definitely looking a little bit stronger. But as soon as I say that, J7NG goes down. There's no goalie, and the core is just gonna get sent right in. Unfortunate. I apologize if there's any sort of a commentator's curse there.
You know what? Hey, at least the Oni Village going long prediction hasn't come true so far, as it does seem like Otaku Hideout is primed to win this game very soon.
Yeah, really, really strong showing right now. One barrier down on J7NG Angel side. The core's still on their side of the field. They're trying to clear it. Really nice clear though from Best Jelly on the other side of the field. And yeah, they need to keep this core off their side right now. Their goal is open, and never mind. There it goes, man. That's a quick 3-0 on that set.
Yeah, Oni Village, considered one of the longest stalling maps in the game. Definitely not being shown to its full value here, as Otaku Hideout picking up one of the fastest, I have to imagine, matches of NASL we have had so far. 11 minutes and 4 seconds. Very, very quick. You'd think we were playing old Omega Strikers over here.
Yeah, I would love to see some stats on what the fastest Oni Village match is versus like the slowest like Demon Days match or something. I think that'd be super funny. But anyways, that was an incredibly dominant performance from Otaku Hideout in that first series. What kind of adjustments do you think we need to see from J7NG's team in order to just get on the board, man? Just start applying more pressure. Maybe some of them stop dying as much. Again, Mark has just been a monster with this Zentaro. What kind of adjustments do you want to see going into game 2 for J7NG's team?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. There really isn't much that I could say that they could do a quick fix of. It's a lot of underlying kind of fixes that would add up to a better start, better draft, and it's really just the flexibility that Otaku Hideout does have on their characters, and they are able to pick. Obviously, we did have a bit of a mirror there, but at the same time, they just played so much better and almost every conceivable way.
I agree. It really did look, I don't want to say skill diff, but it really did look like they were the better team between the two. And yeah, I mean, maybe we'll just, if you're J10, you gotta dig deep. You gotta pull something out to get back in this game. And maybe, I mean, maybe a change of stage is what they need as well. Maybe a stage that they're more comfortable on. I'm not entirely sure of what this team's preferences are in regards to that. But maybe just a more comfortable stage. I know a lot of people don't like Oni Village for certain reasons. So maybe something like that would be effective for them as well.
Yeah, a bit of a stage change could help them. Maybe they're more fans of Night Market. Maybe they like Labs more. Maybe a little bit of Demon Deus. I personally don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you, but hey, you know what? If we do roll a different map, the story will tell itself there.
Exactly, definitely. So we should be getting into the next game pretty soon. Yeah, I don't really expect to see a different band, especially from Otaku. I think the Juno band was like pretty spot on. You want to, keep that, keep the unique characteristic of their team, restricted. And maybe another. Do you remember? I'm sorry. Can you remind me who they banned? Who J7NG's team banned in the first game?
You know what? The game went so fast that I don't even remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't.
I imagine.
Actually, yeah.
I imagine.
Sorry to everyone, but
no, you're fine. I imagine I can look at it. It was X. It was an X ban.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, X-Band seems like an interesting pick. You were mentioning that X maybe, well, certainly at the very least, not as strong as he used to be. So maybe another band coming up from J7NG's team, Zentaro maybe, just because of how strong of a performance Mark just put on. Maybe we'll see something like that in how they want to adjust to this.
Yeah, maybe you decide to ban the Zentaro instead and say, hey, maybe we do go to that X mirror that might come out. As you said, Yoshi, a X player that you watched, was it during quals?
Yeah, it was during quals. Yep.
During quals. So, maybe that's more of kind of his vibe, and maybe it'll be what his team needs to kind of push them over the edge here and dig deep and grab a few wins here and there.
Yeah. Hopefully. Well, like you're saying, they gotta find something just because of how strong that performance was. We are searching. It looks like we are getting started. Drum roll, please.
Fingers crossed on no loading bug.
Of course, always. Right, we're loading in, and we are on Night Market. Okay, so certainly a pretty, maybe not the most different map from Oni Village, but it's still a pretty different map. You got those walls in the center kind of dividing the upper and lower parts of the map, making it, a little, I guess, positioning a little bit more important for the midfielders. What kind of, do you expect to see any changes in the roster going into this next game?
Honestly, I think there might be a bit more. Ooh, we see an Amy band coming out.
Okay.
So it looks like they don't want to match that and are instead going to pick what looks like this Jakar as it's now picked. So a bit more of a switch up in this midfield for both teams.
Yep. And do you think Jakar offers any particular advantage to them to this map, or do you think they just, Storms, it wasn't working out the first time. We wanna change up characters, see if the Jakar just, ends up a little better.
Now, you know what? Some of the things I would have to look at are what's going to be our starting awakenings, but Jakar into X is actually very good for the side of Jakar, as X really struggles to kind of put any sort of pressure, as Jakar does have the lock and load. Ooh, it does look like it is missile prop. So Mark is going to be in a bit of peril here, as this Jakar will be able to completely kind of make him helpless if he so desires.
Yeah, it seems like he will have an easier time just zoning him out. Like you mentioned, X obviously complete melee character, doesn't really have any sort of projectiles or anything to speak of. And Jakar, between being able to move very fast and have a projectile, might be able to just run away and kind of kite X, bully him a little bit. Let's see if this is able to help them going into game number 2.
Yeah, as this core does come back to Best Jelly, J7NG is going to try and throw the Giga Blast, but Mark actually going to hit that one with the Bull Rush after. And whoa, he is going to get a massive burst of speed there. That looked a lot faster than normal in my head. I don't know why he went. I imagine that's the normal speed, but
he just did. This X did not skip leg day. I think that's the bottom line.
No, it definitely didn't skip leg day, and Kiwi
he's definitely on the treadmill.
Kiwi did not skip his core flip privileges, as he does pop it and hits that one at the bottom of that.
And Otaku Hada taking the first point again, going into the second game, into the next set.
Yeah, and Alpha Kibi already 1 HP with the combined force of J-Tank, Z-Yoshi, and Storm, and Z-Yoshi is going to be looking at this kill as Mark does pop the core flip, and it comes back to Z-Yoshi. Z-Yoshi does have the core flip here, and that was... I'm not too sure what happened there.
Interesting.
So... I've never seen that interaction before, but yeah. I imagine we could get some sort of clip of it to look at it later. But as now Z-Yoshi does use that primary to push the core forward, and Mark actually doing a great job at keeping damage on Storm, TFT, and Z-Yoshi is both of them in grave peril of being killed off the map here as J-Tang is going to try and keep this core forward.
All right. Yeah, still both teams just vying for the positioning. Obviously, the gate is completely open on Otaku's side of the field right now. That kind of weird interaction earlier. Definitely working out in J-Tang's team's favor. One barrier going down now on J-Tang's side, though. Let's see if he can clear it. Nice. Gonna be able to block the barrier, but it's still on his side, and there it goes. All right, we are back on the right side of the field. And just as I say it, both barriers are now down for both teams. Can they defend this open net?
Yeah, as it does go back to Z-Yoshi, and Z-Yoshi gonna get a kill on Alpha Kiwi, but it doesn't matter as Mark gonna use that bull rush, dashes forward and smacks that one past J-Tang. Nothing really he could do there except hope and pray.
Yeah, and unfortunately sometimes that is just not enough.
Not enough indeed, as his team is already down 2 points in this set. Especially is going to use this Kai Barrage to try and get the core forward and hit that bottom barrier. And now Mark, in the face of J-Tang, is going to sit there very menacingly, but it doesn't matter as Alpha Kiwi on the other side is going to pick up a kill for himself on Storm TFT, as Best Jelly now going to use this barrage very offensively. Is going to lose his barrier for it as the Yoshi does pop that ultimate on the Zentaro as it now comes back to Storm TFT. Storm TFT might be lagging a little bit as he does miss the core there, and Best Jelly now in a very dangerous situation. The Yoshi does have the core flip here, pops it, catches it, comes back, hits that center, and goes back to Alpha Kiwi. Alpha Kiwi gonna hit it forward, and now Mark with the bull rush. J-Tang has to be careful, and Alpha Kiwi showing him why he needs to play around his stagger bar, manages to kill him off the map, and now they have a great shot at getting this top barrier, or this bottom barrier here. Last barrier they need is Best Jelly gonna walk forward, and there's the bell ringer into the bull rush, but it doesn't manage to get the core, and now both team members of Otaku Hideout were staggered there. Alpha Kiwi getting knocked off the map by Z-Yoshi, and Best Jelly gonna hit this one up. Throws the barrage a little too early. Mark doing all he can to survive here, pops the X Maximus, but doesn't get anything out of it, as now Best Jelly hits this one forward, and Mark getting the Molten Bolt thrown on him is getting thrashed around 24/7, and now he's dead. He's gone.
They finally got rid of the big problem. Let's see if they can capitalize off of this right now. All right, good defense right now from Best Jelly. Oh, but not going to be enough. Excuse me, not going to be enough. JT is going to finally get on the scoreboard. I feel like it's been a while since we saw a point from them. So nice to see they're still hanging in there. They're still cooking. They're trying to claw their way back up.
Yeah, and this match definitely looking a lot closer than what the last one was. Even off of the starting, as the Shakar is putting so much pressure on Mark, Mark putting pressure on Dae-Chang and the entire team, as Z-Yoshi getting cracked here, does have his core flip, opts not to use it. Might have been a mistake, as now his bottom barrier is gone, and Best Jelly gonna walk forward. J-Tang gonna get his own core flip, and Best Jelly in a bit of a precarious situation here, as now Z-Yoshi gonna pop his core flip, is gonna send it down. Best Jelly's gonna catch it with his own core flip, and Z-Yoshi getting knocked off the map by Mark. XO stands for lots of love, and lots of love indeed, as he picks up yet another kill in this game, and Best Jelly showing us why he can score, uses that Giga Blast, gets it forward for his team, and puts one in the net to end our first set.
Yep, another goalie goal. You love to see it. So we're going to go into Carousel now. I'm particularly curious about the awakenings that the X and the Drekar are going to want to take here, because like you mentioned, it seemed like, you know, JT they were cooking, right? For the next game, they said, let's not ban the X, let's unpick the X, let's pick Drekar to maybe have a better matchup into the X. But the X is still proving to be extremely effective, and he's also going to pick up Cast to Last. So when he comes to town, he is staying in town.
Yeah, that Cast to Last is definitely going to help him put even more pressure on top of what he's already done to J-Tang. That Cast to Last gives him such a longer ult duration.
Yeah, definitely. All right, going into the next set, kicking it off. JT Angels able to kind of win that first interaction, but still and get a barrier for it, but still a lot of back and forth going on between these two teams right now.
Yeah, as this one does come back to Best Jelly and Tsuyoshi having a nice little passing session as Storm TFT is fighting for his life. Already cracked, gets hit by the Bull Rush, and now the Giga Blast from Best Jelly coming forward and keeping it forward one more time, one more ability that they needed to get that bottom barrier, as Alpha Kiwi is going to throw that piercing shot. Doesn't really get anything off of it, and now Mark almost dying there. Tsuyoshi having pretty much everything he can to kill him. But as that one almost goes in, J7NG doing a nice job to save it, and Best Jelly gonna Giga Blast Storm TFT off the map. Mark one-shot himself, but has the cast to lasts long enough for him to pick up that kill there, and is gonna win that strike war in front of the net, and picks up yet another point for his team.
Oh yeah, Mark was hanging on with literally 0 stagger. At one point, he was just sitting in that middle area waiting for the green orb to spawn, able to come back, protect his character's life and get a kill, and then capitalize off of it with a goal as well. So great stuff to Mark on that round.
Yeah, as Mark showing us why he is that guy on the X here. He's already got that top barrier. And now a little low, but he has a lot to work with as his ult cooldown should be up. Here it is. Here's the X Maximus dropping a Sword of TFT as Alpha Kiwi working here in the midfield. Doesn't have enough to finish him off, but Alpha Kiwi maybe going to help him as he does. And Mark using that Bull Rush to get yet another kill as this one comes back to Alpha Kiwi. And now Best Jelly gonna pop the score flip, getting it forward to Mark. J7NG gonna have that barrage to keep it away as Best Jelly hits this one up to the top of the map. As Alpha Kiwi gonna hit that with a piercing shot, and Mark winning a strike war, getting another barrier for himself. Now the net is open, they just need a little something, but Storm TFT is gonna lock and load Alpha Kiwi off the map as this one comes back to Best Jelly. Best Jelly losing both of his barriers to Storm TFT, and now they have the advantage. Do they get the goal? Hitting it right in the Best Jelly. Guys, we gotta focus a little bit on our shot placement, but shot placement be damned, as it doesn't matter. Both teammates of OTKU Hideout missing that core, going into the bottom of the net, and they have picked up 1 point. But you know what?
Nice.
Any point matters at this point.
Exactly. You know what? You need 1 point to get 2, and you need 2 points to get 3. And they're both gone instantly. What happened there?
But Mark needs no points to get both goal barriers as Tsuyoshi returns the favor, says, hey, if you can do it, I can do it too. As now Mark, with this Bull Rush, going to put a lot of damage on Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi has to play his life here, but Mark, now with the X Maximus, with the cast to last, we are throwing our core flip on absolutely nothing. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Oh my god, we just hit it into J7NG for no reason. The top of the net was open. Mark, come on. We gotta cook a little harder here as this Giga Blast does come forward from J7NG. And now Tsuyoshi sitting here and trying to get a kill on Alpha Kiwi, but Alpha Kiwi going to use that Rose Warp to stagger Tsuyoshi. And now Tsuyoshi has to play his life as the Crystal Thorns come through. And now, Alpha Kiwi just kind of trying to play his life. Decides not to hit the core there instead. But now they have the advantage. Mark popping the ult on to J7NG. And J7NG not able to get to the core, getting stunned by that X Maximus. And they pick up another point.
Yeah, that was pretty cool right there, actually. Just interrupting J7NG's core flip, and again, just perfectly capitalizing off of getting a goal. Mark really showing he's an expert on this character, absolutely.
Yeah, and Mark showing why he is the brawler for his team, as he has picked up tons of damage and multiple kills so far in this game. But you know what? Alpha Kiwi also putting so much pressure on the enemy team himself, as Best Jelly is going to core flip this one forward, not going to get anything out of it as he does push it to Alpha Kiwi. Alpha Kiwi going to lose the strike war against Storm TFT, and now Tsuyoshi is in full control of the core here as J7NG is in the back. No one really notices him, but he is almost dead as Alpha Kiwi is going to use that piercing shot to get that barrier, and Mark winning a strike war in front of J7NG. J7NG fighting for his life in this game as Mark is sitting on him with that X Maximus every chance he gets.
Yeah, I almost didn't notice that. There was so much action happening on the right side of the field. I didn't notice just Mark hanging out on the left, just duking it out with J7NG's Kai. That was pretty funny. Just look over there and see, wait a minute, there's a fight going on over here. So we're going into Awakenings now. Drekar gonna take that built different. I like that a lot. Just again, another way to help fight against that X with Castellas, which is already really scary. X gonna pick up the Spark of Strength. I don't. Was this a Spark opener? Do you happen to remember?
I do believe it was Spark of Cooldown.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
If I
so
remember.
got a couple sparks stacking on this X. I like that. Obviously, Spark of Strength is going to be just very useful for him in general. Pretty good awakening choices between those two characters, and just immediately, I hate that angle, man. Both barricades going down. The gates are open, and this is a rough start right now for JT/Angel's team.
Yeah, Best Jelly using that Giga Blast and got both barriers instantly as now Mark in the position to cook as Alpha Kibi's going to feed him the core here. Here comes the Bull Rush. J-Tang doing a bit of lagging. Just still holding on though, manages to get it. And now it's just a wait for Mark to get ultimate angle as he is going to steal this orb from J-Tang. J-Tang needs to start using his elusive to dodge some of these abilities as it does appear like he is lagging a little. And here comes the X Maximus. He is going to strike. Doesn't manage to get the core, but is going to knock J-Tang off the map. Now all Alpha Kibi needs to do is give him the core. Give him the core. He does as Mark spins it into the net.
Yeah, good play. Super unfortunate if there happens to be a lag issue, but I mean, sometimes you just got to play with the hand you're dealt. Mark's still doing a fantastic job though, capitalizing off of that kill, able to put the core in and secure the point for his team.
As Storm TFT does use the core flip here, manages to get this bottom barrier, but they need a lot more than one barrier as now Mark using his core flip to dodge that multi-bolt from Storm TFT. And here come the Crystal Thorns onto Storm TFT. Storm TFT running for his life, gonna get bull rushed into a punch from that X Maximus as Alpha Kibi picks up a kill himself. J-Tang all alone has to hold it down. Very little stagger. And here comes the pass, the piercing shot, and the bell ringer into another goal. And man, they need something right now to pull through.
Yeah, this has been so dominant. And I mean, we've been talking the whole time about just all the damage and kills that Marco has been doing and getting. But Alpha Kibi these last couple rounds, picking up a KO and a double KO in the previous round as well. So definitely still able to put on a lot of pressure against Yoshi, against the midfield, while, you know, Mark is just doing his thing off in the other team's goal, just, you know, having a boxing match. Both gates open right now. Best Jelly not gonna get the core flip, and Yoshi just gonna poke it right in. Not entirely sure what happened there, but if you're JT's team, you take those absolutely.
Yeah, might have forgotten to hit a little bit of left click there, but you know what? It's okay as they're up completely at every possible way in this game. As now Mark gonna pop his ultimate. And doesn't really get too much out of it. Is going to hit multiple people here, and then gets the bell ringer, and actually now they're sitting in a really nice spot as the multi-molt does come onto Mark, as Best Jelly going to use this barrage to keep it forward as much as possible, as Alpha Kibi is going to mess up a little bit of a strike there, and Best Jelly, whoa!
Not like this.
Own barrier jump scare there as Mark is going to get that top one, and now Storm TFT with the ability to cook, and almost gets it there with that missile propulsion in that lock and load. As I don't even know what's going on the other side of the map, but Mark manages to get a barrier, and now Mark in a prime position, 2 core flips up from the side of J-Tang though, so they do have the ability to kind of stall it out, but actually Storm TFT is going to die to that Best Jelly barrage, and now we are sitting in a little bit of a 2v2. It looks like both teammates have gone AFK in the situation that we are, as they are off the map. But they are going to respawn right here, as Alpha Kibi is going to use that piercing shot to get it forward, as Yoshi really needs, I mean, he's hunting for this goal. He really needs it as much as possible, but Best Jelly's going to deny him with the core flip. And Mark sending lots of love to his goalie with that bell ringer, pushing it into his own net. And hey, maybe they can get a reverse sweep going on.
Yeah, that was kind of definitely an unfortunate, you know, happening right there. He had such a really cool, like, aimed secondary, the bull rush, on, you know, on a really fast moving core, was able to hit it, and then immediately afterwards the bell ringer hitting the core the wrong way. You hate to see it, but like you said, they're still in a pretty good spot. They have a nice lead. They're up an entire series as well. So, excuse me, yeah, up an entire series as well. So, you know, they don't need to be sweating too much just yet.
Yeah, and not sweating they are, as, you know what, they've gotten a kill already in this round, and Yoshi looking a little low, gonna get hit by this bull rush, is gonna get hit. Oh my god, almost died. Best Jelly actually pushing him out of the way with that barrage, as Yoshi popping the core flip, and Best Jelly gonna barrage it again. My god, I don't even think the barrage is on a cooldown, as I've seen him use it 20 times in about 3 seconds, as there's so much going on. People are dying left and right, as now Mark is gonna punch. Oh wow, what a core flip
great
to
save.
save that one, as Best Jelly, we forgot the core, tries to walk forward and barrage it himself. Forgot he had core flip. Garfield, you had burst as it does come up to Alpha Kibi, and now back to Best Jelly. Best Jelly gonna strike shot that one, and Storm TFT is trying to look for this barrier. Here comes a piercing shot from Alpha Kibi, and now Mark with the speed, with everything in his hands, kind of strikes the air. He's showing a little bit of dominance in this game as Best Jelly is walking too far forward again, and now Mark with the ult, and Alpha Kibi gonna Rose Warp that one into the top of the net and pick up the clean 2-0 for his team.
Yeah, even after, maybe a few mistakes, a handful of mistakes from Otaku's side the last, few moments of that set, still able to secure the point. Alpha Kibi, I think, kind of an unsung hero of this entire series for sure. We saw obviously Mark just taking care of business, right? Getting kills left and right on whoever he wants. But Alpha Kibi doing a great job controlling the midfield. A lot of the time, the core was just on JT Angel's side of the field because they weren't able to get it past the combination of Alpha Kibi's just control of the midfield, and also, of course, Belly Jelly able to influence the midfield as well with his ranged attacks on Kai. Great stuff overall from both teams. But Otaku Hideout just played phenomenally, and they are going to be the victors of the series.
Yeah, and if you look at the damage that Otoko Hido is able to put out compared to J-Tangles with a shotgun, look at that difference. Mark XO sending lots of love with his damage stat, 33,000, Alpha Kibi 28,000, and Best Jelly actually living up to the damage of Storm and J-Tang, kind of keeping it equal with both of those, as, I mean, it really is a bit of a damage difference, and Mark showing us why he was the MVP in this series for both games. Look at those KOs, picking up 8 in this game, and picking up a multitude of others in that last game.
Yeah, super strong showing. It seemed like their comp was it was so fleshed out. They had, good, excellent KO capability, obviously. They had great control of the midfield. They had great scoring power, and they all just executed their jobs like perfectly. So great job. I don't know what else to say about that. That was a fantastic job to Otaku Hideout.
Yeah, and something else you can look at is if you look at the redirects, Best Jelly sitting with 192 most in the game. Definitely a big proprietor from the prime time that he picked up from what I remember. He had his barrage up almost every second, and he was really able to keep that core forward in a map like Night Market. And someone to, kind of help better explain it to us is our analyst desk.
All right, thank you guys. We're back at the analyst desk here. I'm back with Mr. Coach Yoki himself. Now, talking about this first game, there's lots to talk about here. Now, we're looking at a bit of a mirror match now. Why was one side so much more favored to win than the other? It seemed that it was very one-sided, even though it was a mirror match, Mr. Yoki.
So this game, I saw some people in chat saying it was a skill matchup, and to a large degree, that's pretty true. But I specifically want to highlight the IME play on both sides, because the IME ended up being what was banned. Alpha Kibi, with the Chrono Boost started with pummelers, meaning with the range, the Alpha Kibi is going to be able to follow up on the damage dealt from Marco and Best Jelly onto whoever they target. And then whenever Alpha Kibi also got the Super Surge, that knockback is just scaling with pummelers, and the range is scaling with Chrono Boost. And that's what led into the first kickoff after the first draft, where we had Best Jelly and Alpha Kibi both like bot side of where the core is at. And because the core spawned top side, and both Best Jelly and Alpha Kibi both have like the range in their kits, they just set up this like beautiful 1-2, even though that got removed from the game, with a 1-2 punch of the freaking Giga Blast. And then the cross map IME blink to like instantly get the kill and convert onto Yoshi. And if you're Yoshi, I mean, what do you do there? Realistically, what can you do? And this game as a whole just kind of was a lot of that. There was better ability use synergy in this match specifically from the side of Otaku that led into them having a 10-3 KO like advantage. So just they were on the same page. They were damaging the right players at the right times, and they were just extremely efficient. That kickoff was really cool to me. But then on offense, whenever we talk about offense, J Tangles, they kind of struggled a bit, if we're being honest. They were a little inefficient when it came to getting barriers, even whenever they had a man advantage. And we saw this early in game 2, was anytime they killed this X, that's where all of their offense came from. In the neutral 3v3, they really struggled. So if we look at like where they're at, even when they have advantage, J-Tang is able to get this clear away from the Imi, which puts them in a Yoshi and Storm in a 2 versus 1 versus Best Shelly. So Yoshi initially passes the core to Best Shelly and then stops with his primary, which I like. This gives time for Storm to position from their half of the field down to the bottom half, rotating along this like center line, where Yoshi should be able to now pitch a pass to Storm, which is either going to bait out an ability from Best Jelly or at least force Best Jelly to rotate and respond. What happens is after Yoshi uses his primary, he does hit the core back at Jelly, and Jelly's rotation is cut short, and this leaves Storm out of the play. So then whenever Best Jelly clears with Barrage, J-Tang is able to clear it back into Yoshi, which is fine, and then Alpha Kibi is now in position to deny this pass. So Yoshi is able to pressure the clear at least away from him, or towards Alpha Kibi, and Jang puts it back at Yoshi, and he follows up with a secondary, which secures the goal barrier, but you only have 3 seconds left before Marco respawns. This core cannot leave your possession, and Yoshi does not core flip here to keep it in possession, which goes back to J-Tang, and then whenever Marco respawns on defense, we see a pretty nice like defensive position formed where Marco and Alpha Kibi are both denying the core from Yoshi. And so because of this like positioning, Yoshi's core flip gets no value, and then Alpha Kibi and Marco are both back on J-Tang. So they just need to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more efficient, and they can convert a lot more on these opportunities that they're able to secure for themselves. In game 2,
I completely agree. Yeah, with game 2 here, we can see. I'd like to shout out Mr. Stormington Teamfight Tactics here. I think he played quite beautifully off of his so-called one-trick Amy here, playing on the Drek after their own team banned out the Amy. But why was Mr. Mark XO lots of love so unstoppable this game?
Lots of love.
Lots of love.
So if we pull up the stats page actually before, you'll see Mark XO kind of putting a hurting on the team of J-Tang. And really, you have to look at the forward damage difference. From the midfielder, you're 11k down, and from the forward, you are 12k down. I wish I got like a screenshot or something of the Awakenings, but the Awakenings weren't too indifferent, if I'm being honest. There wasn't too much of a dramatic difference in damage Awakenings that I noticed, but then again, I kind of didn't get the best eye for them. But really what I noticed a lot was whenever you have Marco sitting on top of J-Tang, J-Tang's ability...
Lots of love.
Mark XO, I don't know. I just call him Marco. Whenever he's positioned on top of J-Tang, it really limits his ability to get clears. And so we see the absolute turbo best in slot, the rare double barrier.
Ogo bundle.
From the side of OTKU. But what I noticed pretty consistently throughout this match is anytime J-Tangles were able to remove Marco or Mark XO from the match, then that enabled J-Tang to exercise his normal Juno aggressive midfield core control playstyle, where he's able to now freely position further up on the field and actually influence and contribute to offense, like we saw in the previous clip, where he's feeding his forwards the core. So here we see J-Tangles doing everything they can to kill Mark XO. Yoshi misses a dash, but it hits the primary. They lose the orb, and J-Tang is able to play aggressive since Yoshi is in net at the moment. And then because Yoshi was left in net and elusively used late, Mark XO is regened a lot of HP and doesn't get hit. The HP is not reset. And whenever the side of J-Tangles didn't all unanimously focus on Mark XO, it was just strictly losing for them. You're using abilities without getting the kill, without moving the core. Well, after losing barriers, they need to get that kill and be able to convert. I had a clip of them doing that, but Twitch deleted it. Actually deleted it, so it's actually worse than slot. Twitch, blame Twitch, but
Sony 07.
but yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
for the most
that was
part pretty much it.
wonderful analysis, Mr. Yoki. I was really seeing the hearts on their sleeves for the teams and the players on this draft here, or on these games here, especially from Mr. J Tang with some good saves. But on to the next game here. I'll bring you guys back over to Keynote and Daft.